Hi, my name is Angela LaRocca, and we are live from the Motor Museum this morning at the Missouri Venture Forum Breakfast. I am lucky enough to be standing next to our speaker this morning, Tim Noonan of Boeing. Good morning, Tim.
Morning, Angela.
Well, thank you so much for being our speaker. I can't say enough good things about a presenter who has people asking question after question at the end. What is one solid piece of advice that you would like to offer the next generation coming in?
You know, the one thing that we've noticed at Ventures is that, the next generation is eager to, view work from a position of meaning, a position of working for something bigger than themselves. And, part of that is alliance, risk-taking, and what we've seen is that you really need to challenge this next generation of entrepreneurs and employees, and you need to create a condition and culture that allows them to thrive. And one of the things that we talk about in our ventures team is that everyone matters, that we want to send everyone home every day better for being part of the team and bring out in them the best of themselves. And we talk about values like tenacity and unity and trust and initiative and discovery as ways to operate. So that's one thing that, as you're thinking about what the next gig is or the first gig is, probe and drill into the values, not only of the company, of what they do and why they matter, but how the team operates.
That's excellent. I mean, I can imagine what that does for morale. And when you have a job where you cannot wait to get there and you're just, that what you do matters, like you said. Something that really stood out to me was your should, not can philosophy. Can you speak a little bit more on that?
Sure. I think as you're looking at, what you should do doesn't, or what you can do doesn't necessarily mean you should do it. And I think that that's on a personal level as well as a company level. I mean, you think about allocating your time. You say, well, I could do this, but should I do it? And so we spend a lot of time in ventures as we look at opportunities that are coming through with the vast resources of the Boeing company, with our reach, with our people, with our capital, with our resources. There's a lot of things that we could do, but the question is, should we? And you should ask that question early, ask it often, because what can happen is that you might start something, it might get big, the proverbial dog might catch the bus. And then you say to yourself, I'm not sure I wanted to be in this business anyway. And if you have highly motivated, tenacious, gritty entrepreneurs working for you, they're going to catch a lot of buses.
Wow, I think that is a fantastic philosophy. I mean, it sort of saves that whole, well, this seemed like a good idea at the time mentality. So you've been a tremendous success and you are very well known all over the place. What is something that you wish someone would have told you as you were just starting out in your career?
It's a great question. I think dig deep. I think the thing that I wish someone would have told me and I understood better is just how much all this work is a team sport. That we in our nation, there's the myth of the individual, and there are individuals, but more importantly, there's teams. And the myth of the self-made man, the myth that the lone entrepreneur, it's all about the team. It's all about fighting for each other's success and understanding that better and earlier, I think, is something that I've learned the hard way along the way.
And I really like, and a few people have mentioned this as something they took away, is how not only do you treat your employees with the utmost respect, but you really protect your talent. How do you go about seeing that all of your talent does stay in-house and that all of your ideas are protected?
Yeah, so I think, from the talent side is that one of the things that we're testing for is whether or not you're an entrepreneur. And that requires a high level of grit and something that we look for, which I call fire, focus on immediate results that are executable. And so if you've got fire, you turn people loose, they deliver typically great results. And whether or not they win or lose doesn't matter. And what you're testing for is tenacity, because the great people will keep showing up with good ideas to do great things. So, I believe that if you motivate people every day, you give them a sense of place and space to do their work, that they'll stay for a long time. Relative to IP, I think that we should, as I mentioned, open up our IP a little bit more. That combining and recombining, seeing how other people view IP is important. Now, this is no way suggest that we are loose with our IP, but it does mean that you can have a lot of conversations where you're not giving your intellectual property away, but you're learning along the way of how to work together.
I really liked your find your place in space pun. Was that intended? But when you spoke to motivation, you certainly motivated our entire room this morning. Again, you've certainly inspired everyone in here to let us sort of get out there in the world and do great things. And any last words of wisdom for our viewers?
No real words of wisdom, except recognize if you're doing this type of entrepreneurial activity, it's a high grit game. It requires a ton of perseverance, a ton of tenacity, and you really need to recognize that. So, character counts, and tenacity always trumps talent every day of the week.
And you said you didn't have any words of wisdom. That was incredible. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Angela.